What do I say to my audience? That is a question that I get all the time from writers, whether they have already published their works or are still in the process of creating them. What kind of content works? What kind of content doesn't? What should I write in my newsletters? What should I say in my videos? How do I get people to comment on my posts? So they often think that I can give them a simple one size fits all answer that will make creating and distributing content easy for them. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. The kinds of content that works for one author may not work for another. And if someone is telling you that there is a single formula that works every single time, they're lying to you. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that doesn't mean that it's hopeless and complicated and you'll never understand how to do it. I'm here to tell you that it's actually possible to have fun while connecting with your audiences because, shocker, that's the whole point of this, right? You became a writer because presumably it's something that you enjoy doing. And just because the whole writing, editing, publishing, and selling process requires hard work doesn't mean that you're not supposed to have fun along the way. If you're not having fun, your audiences will notice, and it will be much harder for them to trust you, which will in turn lower the potential conversion rate. If they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. This applies to both self-published and traditionally published authors. It is far too easy to get stressed out by all the steps that building an audience and selling books requires. So I want you to take a deep breath and invest just a bit of your trust in me. I've got you, I promise. I've been in the small business and entrepreneurship space for 20 years and have been a creative since birth. My mom was an art teacher for 25 years, so I joke that I was born into it. I've been writing in some shape or form since I was 7 years old, and that built up to winning poetry awards in high school, getting published in academic journals in college, and founding 4 of my own businesses in my 20s and 30s. In 2022, I succeeded in writing, publishing, and selling my debut novel in under 9 months. That same year, it sold in 6 countries, ranked in the top 100 of all Ingram fiction, fantasy, romance titles, and has only received 4 to 5 star reviews since then. I write and publish a new book every year, as well as spend my time advising other writers and speaking both domestically and internationally so that I can share my knowledge far and wide. I simply want more books birthed into the world, and I believe that a lack of strategies and logistics is the silliest reason to let your book dream die. My expertise is something that I can easily provide, and I think it would be selfish if I didn't share it with you all. So I'm not a gatekeeper. If you have questions that pop up along the way, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I am more than happy to answer them. So let's get into it. When we're talking about content, what we're really talking about is brand topics and brand voice, which ultimately is birthed from brand values as an author. Let's go over some definitions first, though. Your personal brand is a distinct identity for you and your products or services in the mind of the target audience and consumers. So it will represent your career, your writing, your values, vision, mission, and goals in a way that can be immediately understood by those who come across it. When you see a billboard, a website, or a logo from a certain company, you should be able to easily grasp what they stand for and why they do what they do. This information is usually conveyed through designs, fonts, colors, and symbols. Consider these the sub or unconscious elements that may or may not convince a potential reader to like you and want to know more about your books. For authors, this is often conveyed through cover designs and marketing materials like images, logos, fonts, and colors. A well-designed book cover is going to tell a potential reader what they can expect from you and your book. What genre is it? What is the emotional impact? What will they learn? What goal could it help them achieve? Or what is the author's mission in writing and distributing this book? As much as we like to tout the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover, we do it all the time. And these brand elements shortcut the decision-making process for their potential reader so they don't have to spend as much time and energy thinking about whether or not they want to buy the book. The easier you make this process for them, the easier it will be to make the sale. But before we get into specifics, though, I want to spend some time differentiating between the types of author brands, because you should think about which method is more within your wheelhouse. Because there are two different ways that I see people build author brands: skill-based and personality-based. So the first is the more traditional route. It is rooted in accolades, achievements, and professional recognition. The second is the more innovative route. So this is the type of public figure who has built a brand off of ideas and feelings more so than deeds. Both are valid ways to build a brand as an author, and most authors tend to fall into one camp or the other. Although many author brands use both methods to some extent. A skill-based brand is the type of brand that you will see from authors who put things like MFA from Goddard or poet laureate or 3-time award winner. Maybe they put TED Talk speaker or New York Times bestseller in the bio blurbs that they put on the backs of book covers or inside the dust jacket. These are the authors who have intentionally built careers around their zone of genius or topic of expertise. They have professional recognition and experience to explain why you should listen to them and read their books. They have external sources that validate their brand through certifications, degrees, and awards. They may have been featured on important stages, at high-profile events, or in big publications like well-known newspapers and magazines. But it is often very expensive to go this route when building a brand. Entering into award contests as a writer, earning degrees and certifications, and getting featured in press outlets often costs a lot of money and is somewhat dependent on privilege and the quality of connections that privilege can provide. It is not impossible to build a skill-based brand without privilege and money, but you have to instead invest the time in becoming a true master of storytelling in order to do so. If you have perfected the art of telling a damn good story, you can also build a skill-based brand off of that alone. But it often takes decades in order to practice the craft and get to that level. On the other hand, many authors are opting instead to build personality-based brands. These brands are suitable for those who may not have access and/or patience to pursue traditional accolades, but are highly skilled at entertaining, inspiring, relating, polarizing, and being vulnerable. Think in terms of mommy bloggers or influencers, podcasters, cult figures, or those who lead with ideas and feelings more so than their past deeds. They are often the ones who can inspire a room full of people to take action through the sheer force of their charisma, charm, or relatability. This can be much more accessible for brand awareness for those who are scrappy, DIYers, or paradigm shifters. And many authors have built massively successful brands just from being able to package and deliver their personalities to the masses effectively. Like I said, both camps are valid, and many authors choose tactics from both in some shape or form. The point is for you to take a moment and consider which camp you may be more inclined toward so that you have somewhere to start as we get into the nitty-gritty of branding strategies. Because all of branding boils down to 3 main things: your why, your values, and your mission. These are the things that potential readers are going to assess when they are deciding if they want to buy your book, whether they are aware of it or not. If you were to, for example, look at the most recent book that you've bought yourself and ask yourself if you agree with that author's mission, you probably wouldn't be able to answer the question because I doubt that the author explicitly communicated their mission to you prior to purchasing the book. But I would bet a lot of money that the author's mission is somehow communicated to you in the way the book cover is designed, the way the book blurb is described, and the way the story they are telling is conveyed, not to mention how the book itself has been distributed and sold. So let's look at a historical romance novel, for example. Is the book cover a stylized illustration of a shirtless man and a busty woman? Or is the cover a comic-based illustration with fully just dressed characters? In the book blurb, does it emphasize the salaciousness of the raunchy romance scenes? Or does it talk about the societal issues of the time, like gender imbalances or education opportunities? Is the book formatted as a mass market paperback with smaller dimensions? Or is it a trade paperback with larger dimensions? The mission behind the first example is probably meant to be an entertaining and spicy tale that is quickly and easily consumed. The mission behind the second is probably meant to be both thought-provoking and entertaining, something that the reader might consider more deeply. Neither mission is less valid than the other, but one book will likely appeal to one type of reader, while the other will appeal to a different type of reader. Being able to communicate these brand differences in your marketing messaging is going to make the whole selling process a whole lot easier for you and your potential readers. You will waste a lot less time, money, and energy trying to convince the wrong audience to buy your book if the brand messaging is clear and concise. So, where do you start? As Simon Sinek has so famously proclaimed, start with why. Most authors can identify what they write. Some can even identify how they write, but can you clearly articulate why you write? Ask yourself, why did you start this particular book? Why is it important to you? Why did you need to tell this story? Maybe you did it to share your perspective with others, to connect or inspire or feel seen. Maybe you did it to add an additional stream of income to your business. Maybe you did it to gain professional recognition in your industry. Maybe you simply did it for fun. Those are all valid reasons. I'm not here to yuck your yum. The point is to be able to confidently answer the question, why are you a writer? You will get asked that question all the time as an author, and you better have a good answer for it. Otherwise, people are not going to want to listen to you and buy your books. The big goals that people often choose are things like changing the world, creating a positive impact, sharing creativity, and so on and so forth. But I also want you to get crystal clear about the little goals as well. Do you want to make money? And specifically, how do you want to make money? Do you want to write spicy stories that turn people on? Do you want to polarize people, make them laugh, inspire them, educate them, energize them, mobilize them? And most importantly, why is that goal important to you? Look at the big picture and the small picture here. What is the impact that you want to make on the world around you with your book? What is unique about your book? What does your book offer that readers can't get anywhere else? Why should your book be the new standard? What are you and your book known for? Why do you write what you do? And what does the finish line look like for this particular book? We will get further into this in the next video because your why is going to be the compass that will help you decide exactly how you will write, publish, and sell your book. It influences every single step of the process, but for now, we want to at least know what your why is so that we can determine the next two elements of your brand, your values, and your mission. So, values can serve three purposes. First, they are the guiding concepts that will serve as your compass when making decisions. When you are confronted with challenges, questions, or opportunities in your writing career, your values will help you steer the ship in the right direction. If you stand for sustainability, then you will want to follow opportunities that support that. If you do not stand for tradition, then you will want to tackle more innovative challenges. Second, values can bring people together and they can also divide them. These concepts will typically put your audiences in one camp or another, which directly encourages tribal loyalty. People will go to great lengths for those that they view as one of them. Brand loyalty sells, and it sells big. Third, they will inform the content that you produce and distribute as you find and connect with your audiences. Your values will determine the topics or the content pillars, as some people call them, that you post about, talk about, make videos about, and nerd out about with your tribe. Whether you are sitting down to make a newsletter or make a YouTube video, your values are going to be the starting point so that you're never at a loss for what to say. They are excellent conversation starters for in-person visibility strategies as well. You will never have to deal with awkward silence if you are crystal clear on your brand values. Your values are going to point you toward which visibility strategies to use and how and where to show up for your audiences and what to talk to them about. They're basically the cheat code for making your marketing efforts easy, fun, and effective. So, what values does your writing represent? Accountability, achievement, affordability, approachability, authenticity, audacity, beauty, benevolence, boldness, collaboration, commitment, community, conformity, coolness, creativity, diversity, education, exclusivity, family, fashion, fitness, health, hedonism, innovation, intelligence, luxury, nature, positivity, power, quality, relatability, security, sustainability. Those are just many words that people can choose as values for their brands. Personally, my brand values revolve around things like efficiency, imagination, diversity, and progressiveness. So that leads us into our mission statements. Your mission statement is a brief explanation of your writing's reason for being, your raison d'etre. How do you plan on accomplishing your goals? Who do you want to reach? How do you want to reach them? It's something that your audiences can not only align with, but help you do too. So write out a mission statement using this suggested framework. My writing provides this information, story, or experience to this audience so that they can achieve this result with these methods. So, for example, my series, Threads of Destiny, tells stories of love and adventure with a DEI lens in a high fantasy setting for readers who are looking for more diverse representation so that they feel accepted, seen, inspired, and entertained. In this mission statement, the information, story, or experience that I'm providing is stories of love and adventure. The audience is readers who are looking for more diverse representation. The result is that they feel accepted, seen, inspired, and entertained. And the methods by which I accomplish this is with a DEI lens in a high fantasy setting. So whether you're trying to change the world, tell the story of your life, or provide a highly entertaining outlet for your audience, the point is to be clear about what you're trying to accomplish with your writing. So you might be looking to turn them on, you might be looking to make them laugh, you might be looking to give them something to think about. Maybe you want to help them change careers, ascend the corporate ladder, or find emotional peace. All of these are valid. What kind of impact specifically are you looking to have with your writing? What do you want your audiences to walk away with after they read your book? And once you have a solid grasp on your why, your values, and your mission, you will be able to define your brand topics. So my brand topics are escapist fantasy, liberal politics, and business systems. And I've created a Venn diagram for myself so that I can see where those topics overlap. I have 3 circles, and they all overlap. And in the middle are my books, my products, my services. So for example, the circles of escapist fantasy and business systems, the overlap of those, I can talk about magic mechanics, I can talk about world building, so on and so forth. Between business systems and liberal politics, I can talk about ethical consumption, mental health, so on and so forth. And between liberal politics and escapist fantasy, I can talk about nerd communities like Dungeons and Dragons or astrology, stuff like that. These topics are how I make sure that all of my multifaceted interests are both cohesive, comprehensive, and attractive for my audiences. So using the example of the 2 viral posts that I talk about in my previous video on visibility, knowing exactly what my brand topics are helped me identify why the different pieces of content worked better or worse with different audiences. They helped me determine what the potential impact of those viral posts may have on my overall brand presence and how I could best capitalize on the new eyes that were being drawn to my accounts as a result. So for example, I made sure to post more about escapist fantasy and nerd communities after my Dungeons and Dragons video went viral. But I posted more about liberal politics and business systems after my anti-billionaire post went viral. So as a result, I was able to capture, engage, and keep those new audiences instead of letting them fall through the cracks. I got a bunch of brand new eyes on me and my brand as a result of those 2 viral videos. How could I capture, engage, and keep them instead of letting them filter away after the virality was over? Creatives tend to be nerds about a whole lot of different things. And we can go down a whole lot of different rabbit holes when creating content for our audiences. But by centering ourselves around our brand values and mission, we can make sure that everything that we're putting out into the world serves our brand awareness in meaningful and productive ways. So when you do get a chance to speak to larger audiences and increase your visibility through the visibility strategies that we talked about in the previous video, you can make the most out of your opportunity. What you say to them can be targeted, specific, and intentional, and that shortcuts the introduction process for both you and them. It will save you time, money, and energy in the long run, trust me. Instead of rambling and hoping that they pick up your meaning, you can be confident that your message is clear and impactful. This is something that I hear all the time from writers and authors. People ask them, like, why do you write? And they go on a 10-minute long ramble that doesn't really make sense. Or they ask, what is your book about? And they don't really have a clear and concise answer for it. Going through your branding, the why, the values, and the mission first, before you have those conversations, will help you come up with that clear and concise answer so that people are like, yes, I get it. Yes, I like it. Yes, I'm on board. Or no, I don't like it. No, I'm not on board. And then you can go talk to new people and repeat the process. It will save you time, money, and energy in the long term. Your branding is going to help you design your book cover, write your book blurb, choose your fonts and colors, hire your team, find marketing opportunities, create content, choose a publishing platform, sell your book, and most importantly, achieve the goal that you're looking to achieve with your writing. As we've gone over the last 2 videos, you've probably begun to realize what exactly your goal is with all of this. You may be driven by a need to make an impact. You may be looking to leave a legacy for your family or your community. Maybe making money is the most important thing to you, or maybe you just want to stroke the old ego. All of those are valid, and they will provide the exact steps that you will need to do in order to achieve your personal vision of success. That is exactly what we'll be talking about in the next video, so stay tuned. In the meantime, please do not hesitate to reach out to me with any questions that have popped up along the way. Like I said, that's what I'm here for. I do not want to gatekeep any of this information, and I am happy to brain share with you based on my 20 years of experience in the business space and lifetime spent as a creative. Not only have I been able to make high quality creative products, but I've been able to produce and sell those products efficiently and effectively, and I want to support you in doing the same. All right? So follow me into the next video where I will answer the question, how do I achieve my specific goals? Stay tuned.